So now let's start with the chapter 1 of Kinetics and Dynamics of Mechanisms course. So that is the introduction to mechanics world. So now let's jump into mechanics. So there are two branch of physics mainly, mechanics. So the mechanics has two major branch. One is statics and another is dynamics. And in dynamics there are two divisions. One is kinematics and another is kinetics. So mechanics is a branch of scientific analysis that deals with motion, time and force. So we have x, y, z coordinate, three forces in three different directions, and then we have another parameter which is time. So there are total seven parameters we will study here. Then the statics deals with analysis of stationary items. So there is no movement. So the displacements are zero. While dynamics, so it deals with the system that change with time. So here the position can change with time, forces will change with time. So here all the parameters are independent of time also sometimes. And while in kinematics, which we'll study here, it involves the study of position, displacement, rotation, speed, velocity and acceleration, while kinematics involves the force also. So the definition of kinematic link or element, so each of the part of our mechanism will have some elements in it, and they will be combined, or there will be some relative motion in between them. So whichever part of a machine which moves relative to some other part is called as a kinematic link, and we'll generally say it as simply a link. So now let's classify links. So a link name is given to any body which has motion relative to other, and then it has some elasticity also, and based on the degree of freedom or the number of connections the link is having, we will classify them. So first we have a binary link, then we have tertiary link, and then we have quaternary link. So this is a link, and this is a solid, this is one solid, this is also one solid, and this is also one solid. So there are no movements in between these points, or there, or let's say there are no movements in between any of the 2 points of a link. So 2 points on a link cannot move relative to each other, but a link will move relative to another link. That's the definition. So if this is not a solid, and if these points can move relative to each other, then this is not said a single link. There we will have a number of links which are forming one relative motion. So binary link is connected to two other points, tertiary link is connected to three other points, quaternary link is connected to four other points. Please be clear with the term link. Please don't get confused otherwise. And we'll see how many degrees of freedom it has. So degrees of freedom means it is the number of independent coordinates required to describe the position of a body in space. So for a general body in space, it has three displacement directions in which it can move, and then there are three rotations along three independent perpendicular axes which can occur. So a free body in space will have 6 degrees of freedom, but when we constrain the bodies, the degrees of freedom can reduce. So we'll see the application of degrees of freedom in understanding the links and other terminologies. So we have seen kinematic pair. So again, the kinematic pair, the links of a mechanism must be connected together in some manner in order to transmit motion from the driver or the input link to the follower or the output link. So what the purpose is, we have somewhere we have some amount of energy, some amount of rotations are happening, translations are happening, and we want to transmit these translations to some other position, and the linkages in between are called as links. And we want to study how can we do this we can achieve our purpose of transmitting our energy or some type of motion to another place, and we may change the type of motion over there also. Link is defined as the rigid connection between two or more elements of different kinematic pairs. So these are rigid, please remember that. So the different kind of constrained motions are, first is completely constrained motion. So when the motion pair between a pair is limited to definite direction irrespective of the direction of force, then the motion is said to be completely constrained. So see this shaft. So this is a collar. So yeah, the shaft is not allowed to move in this direction. It can just rotate about its axis. So whatever force we apply in whatever directions, the only one type of motion is allowed. Here also we have put a rectangular block inside another block. So we can only push it and it can translate in only this direction and it cannot rotate. So that's the meaning of completely constrained motion. Then we have incompletely constrained motion. That means uh, the translation plus rotations both are possible. Here either only the translation was allowed or only the rotation was allowed, while here a translation and rotation both are allowed. And then we have successfully constrained motion. Here nor the translation, neither translation nor rotations are allowed. It is completely constrained. So if we apply a force and in x direction and y direction both are constrained, then it will not come inside and it will not rotate also. So when the motion between elements forming a pair is such that the motion completely constrained is not completed by itself, but so externally we are putting constraints, so there is no movement in whatever force directions we are applying. Then we'll classify the kinematic pair. So there are so many classifications, and please be clear with these classifications and the naming which we are providing. These are very useful for solving problems also. So first classification is according to the type of relative motion between the elements. So first is the sliding pair. So this means the sliding pair. So the link A is able to slide through link B. So when two elements of a pair, so this makes a pair, A B makes a pair, and they are connected in such a way that only one, so that one can slide relative to each other, to the other, is called as the sliding pair. A similar condition occurs in a piston moving inside the cylinder of the engine, or also in the lathe machine also the similar situation occurs. Next is the turning pair. So a turning pair means the motion of A is relatively able to turn itself, rotate inside B. So when two elements of a pair, so AB makes a pair, are connected in such a way that one can only turn or revolve about a axis of another link. So B's whole is making an axis and A is able to rotate about that axis, is called as the turning pair. So AB makes a turning pair. Now we have a spherical pair. So spherical pair means that when two elements of pair connected in such a way that one element which has a spherical shape, so this is one element and it has a spherical shape, and it is put into another element which, and this makes a spherical pair. It can turn or swirl or about its own axis. So it can, so this is the axis, it can turn about its own axis, and the pair is called the spherical pair. So the ball and socket joint of our solder makes a spherical pair. Similarly, um, when there is a pen stand, pen can be put in there on a stand. It makes a spherical joint. Also, you would have seen the mirror, the rear mirrors of our car, or majorly it is directly visible in our motorcycle. So that rear mirror we are able to rotate it about some axis. So that's make a spherical pair. Then we have a rolling pair. So a rolling pair means that one of the element is able to roll over the another fixed link. So the AB link, AB makes a fixed point, and the R, which are the balls. So this is a bearing, it is the central axis. Here the shaft is there. So this is the hole for the shaft, and the rolls or the balls are able to roll over the race of the bearing. And we have a screw pair. So screw pair means that the A is able to move through B in a very specified way. So it cannot move in any direction in any way. Here the rolls were able to move with rotation and with translation through AB link, fixed link, while here the B link is fixed, but the profile is made such that A has a very definite limited amount of rotation or the translation which it can occur. So the nut bolt have a screw pair. Then the another way of classification of kinematic pair is according to the type of contact between the elements. So here first we have a lower pair and then we have a higher pair, and these are very important because this lower pair concept and higher pair concept will occur for solving the problems and figuring out the number of degrees of freedom and other. So lower pair simply means that pair A pair and B elements make a pair, and those A, B are having a surface contact in between them, and then this represents a surface contact. So this is A, the block which has a hole, and this B which is another block, it is having a surface contact. Or here we have a shaft which is constrained through collars, and there is a surface contact. So all the lateral surface is having a surface contact with the bearing or the outer surface, and a higher pair will have a line contact or a point contact. So these balls are fixed in a link bearing and they are having a point contact or a line contact. So this will have a point contact. So the balls will have a point contact at the race of the bearing. So they are called as the higher pair, and we'll represent these two parametrically afterwards. So let's see the different categories of lower pair. So first, first is the turning pair, or we'll say the revolute. So we have only 1 degree of freedom, and that is rotation. So we'll represent it by R. Then we have prismatic or slider. So this is the slider. So it is very similar to piston sliding in the combustion chamber. So it is able to slide through that, and the degree of freedom is 1. And here also we had a surface contact. Here also the slider has a surface contact. Then we have screw or helical pair. So it is moving, the helical screw is moving, and it has 1 degree of freedom. That is, it can only rotate, and as a result it will only translate. Here also the slider was able to only move up and down, and that means the degree of freedom is only 1. Here there was only 1 degree of freedom, which is the rotation. Next, if the collars were not there on the shaft, then the shaft can also translate, and while it is translating it can also rotate. So the translation is represented by S. Rotation can be represented by angles. Here the first angle is used as theta, another angle used will be phi, and third will be psi. So the cylindrical pair means there are 2 degrees of freedom. We have a surface contact. Third is the globular or spherical pair. So the spherical, so we have seen it earlier also. The spherical joint, spherical pair. So a spherical pair will have 3 degrees of freedom. That is 3 different independent axis rotations are allowed. So we'll represent it by 3 angles, theta, phi and psi. And then we have flat or planar pair. So here we have put a block on another larger block, and the block can move in xy directions, and then it can rotate also about its axis. So there are 3 degrees of freedom. It has 2 degrees of freedom. Cylindrical pair has 2 degrees of freedom. So remember, the surface contact is being maintained. That is the necessity for being a lower pair. And then we have degrees of freedom. And how can you easily remember the degrees of freedom can be represented by this figure. So please remember the degrees of freedom of different kinds of lower pair. And so this table represents the revolute pair has 1 degree of freedom, that is the angle psi, phi or theta or any one angle, and relative motion is circular. The prismatic pair, which was this slider pair, so it has one relative motion which is the distance x, 1 degree of freedom, and it is a rectilinear motion. The screw pair had 1 degree of freedom, either the rotation which we are applying or the translation which is the output of the rotation, and it is the helical motion. The cylindrical pair has two motions, that is one x or y, or one rotation, that is there are 2 degrees of freedom and it is cylindric motion. Sphere has spherical motion and there are 3 angular degrees of freedom available. The flat pair had 3 degrees of freedom and the planar motion was there, and there are 2 independent xy directions in which it can travel, and there was one angular motion about which it can rotate about its own axis. Then the third classification of kinematic pair is according to the type of closure. So we have self-closed pairs and we have force-closed pair. Self-closed pair means when the two elements of pair are connected together mechanically in such a way that only required kind of relative motion occurs, and it is then it is known as self closed pairs, and there are no externally applied force in self closed. So it by inherently they are having some fixed motion, while force closed pair means there are some externally applied force, and due to that force there is a limited amount of motion which is allowed. So the example of force closed will be a cam and follower of an engine. So the IC engine, so there is a cam, and then there is some profile which is the cam, and then the spring or some follower is been attached, and that guides the opening and closing of the intake and exhaust valve. So that is a force closed pair. Okay, we'll see the continuation afterwards.